Hi, I'm Sam Vokes at Wycombe Wanderers, and you're listening to Wycombe Sound.
The Wycombe Wanderers Show.
Welcome to this week's edition of the Wycombe Wanderers Show, which, as you can probably imagine, is a bit of a special one as we look ahead to the final of the Bristol Street Motors Trophy between Wycombe Wanderers and Peterborough United, which kicks off at Wembley Stadium. Our fourth visit in 10 years to the National Stadium on Sunday at 4:30. Lots to bring you in the next hour. In a few moments' time, we'll hear from Phil with our match briefing. We'll catch up with Matt Cecil as well, who you may already know is head of media at Wycombe Wanderers, talking about some of the behind-the-scenes preparations and what will be involved on the day from a media point of view as well. We've even got travel news for you. Matt Turner from Chiltern Railways will give you some top tips for travelling to the ground if you're going by train and when to go and how to best avoid queuing for ages. Terrible flashbacks to 2022 after the Sunderland defeat, of course, as well. In terms of other voices that you'll hear, we'll catch up with manager Matt Bloomfield, as you'd expect. We'll catch up with Ryan Tafazolli as well. The club had a media day earlier this week. Yesterday, I think it was. We'll speak to them there. And also, we'll hear from a legendary central defender who's been to Wembley 3 times with Wycombe, 4 in total, another with Dagenham and Redbridge, Glyn Creaser, who can be heard very soon as well. We'll catch up with Wycombe Wanderers women captain Bobby Lynch as well. They're organising a group to go to the ground as well. They've had their game rearranged on Sunday especially. Lots more to bring as well, I think, although I can't remember any more of it. But that's all on the way in the next hour. But first, let's catch up with Phil. As I say, caught up with him at the training ground yesterday on a busy day for the media and for the players and for the coaching staff as well. Certainly doesn't feel like a normal game or a normal week for preparing for a game, especially after that 0-0 defeat up at Blackpool.
You know, luckily for Wycombe Wanderers, it's not a unique feeling or a new feeling for a lot of us. We've been there before, but also every game under the arch is special for the fans, especially, and also obviously the players. You know, and what's been lovely today on the press day is seeing how excited the likes of Jack Grimmer and Sam Vokes, who've been there and done it. They're really excited to be there, and then you see someone like Freddie Potts and Joe Lowe, who've never played there, and the excitement in their face as well. So, look, you know, it's going to be a big day, and hopefully we perform.
And really nice that they can now look forward to it, as opposed to, you know, in the pre-Blackpool, everyone was talking about, we're just going to focus on the league and can't think about this trophy final.
Yeah, and I think you can see why, and that's a good tactic, because it has meant that this week has got a real buzz and a zip about it. Look, you know, the cut and thrust of League One is fairly relentless. And, you know, this has been a really good distraction, this competition. And, you know, we had some real tough times mid-season. It's pulled us through that. And we've used it at times to get us through that. And now, with a very busy finish to the season coming, we've got a good day out in April, and it could be a really good springboard to finish the season emphatically and finish as high as we can. So I think the gaffer's done it right, made sure that everyone was focused on the league until after Easter, and now we've got 6 days where it's all Wembley, 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 and you know, you can tell it's buzzing here.
It feels really good preparation as well, and goals conceded, obviously a clean sheet on Monday, and you know, plenty of points picked up recently as well.
Yeah, and you know, there was Luke Leahy was the only survivor of the defence from Good Friday. So yeah, 3 changes across the back 4 and still a clean sheet. I think if that's a really good underlining of the point of the depth we've got now in the squad. Of course, now it's a bit of a headache for the gaffer to decide who wants to start at Wembley or who starts at Wembley. They'll all want to start. So he's got some tough choices to make, but they're really good choices. And yeah, I think then moving forwards as well, there's some real dilemmas for him. But that's a good thing to have.
And obviously previous visits to Wembley have been at the end of season, and there's still, you know, a good few games to go yet. Yeah,
this is a slightly unusual part of it, is that we've got quite a few league games actually, most of them away, I've noticed, after Wembley. So yeah, I think we'll really enjoy Wembley, as it's almost like our second home of late. I mean, this personally is my 7th trip to Wembley with Wycombe Wanderers, both as a fan and as a press person or working for the club. So yeah, it's fantastic. There'll be fans and people working for much bigger clubs than this who won't have got anywhere near that figure. So unlucky.
And also, I think it's really nice in that, as you say, that the club has been there, you know, it's comparatively so many times in recent times.
Yeah, it's the recent experience I think is the most relevant, because obviously there's still players and staff in the building that would have experienced the lows of 22, the highs of 20, the gaffer obviously from 2015, but that's why managers they draw on their experiences as a player. We've seen it with Gareth Southgate for England. He was the lowest probably point of his career was that penalty miss in Euro 96, and he's now been our most successful manager at major football tournaments, and it's using that experience you build through your life. You don't let it define you. It shapes your future, and I think we're seeing that with the gaffer, and hopefully we're talking about success on Sunday.
4:30 on a Sunday seems to be an unusual time, especially for players who are used to playing at 3 o'clock on a Saturday or a Tuesday night.
Listen, I think the biggest shame about this whole thing is that Wembley should be about the fans. Wembley is a great day out for the fans, and to me, the fans haven't been the priority, whoever's putting this tournament on, and I think that's a real shame. And that's for both sets of fans, Peterborough and Wycombe. I feel for people who booked their travel when the 3 o'clock was announced and then it was moved, some time later. Obviously, fans coming from overseas. It's not just people who live in Wycombe that support Wycombe Wanderers, but fingers crossed, those who really want to get there can get there and enjoy the day. And those who can't will enjoy the coverage as well and will be with us in spirit.
And it feels like such a great tonic as well, with what a great sort of reward for the manager in his first season in charge, and obviously that run of games without a win, and it just seems such a nice sort of thing to have. Yeah,
I think this is his first full season as manager, so to get to a major cup final, this is the furthest that this club has got in this competition. It's a great achievement before we've even crossed the line on Sunday. I know the gaffer won't be thinking that. He'll be thinking about how he goes that one step further and make sure that we win the trophy, but it's a great achievement. He's young in his managerial career. We talked about his experiences as a player. He's building his catalogue of experience now as a manager. There's been some tough times this season, and he'd have had to really have drawn on his resilience a lot, like all managers have to. He saw Gareth Ainsworth do that. He would have seen other managers in his Wycombe Wanderers career having to do that too. He knows a lot of other managers in the game. He's very well liked and respected, so he'll be speaking to people and would have been doing so throughout this season. And I'm sure if Wycombe are successful on Sunday, there'll be lots of messages flying back and forth between those people that have helped him and those that will continue to help him moving forward.
I appreciate you won't be playing on Sunday, but what are you most looking forward to about the day yourself?
It's when doing the commentary at Wembley is great. Obviously, the facilities are wonderful. We've got Bez Labala with us, who's cup tied. He did the semi-final with us at Bradford, so don't change a winning cup team. Bez will be keen to be involved on that as well, which will be lovely. So from my point of view, it's business as usual, and without trying to sound too much like a sort of a cliched sort of player, it's another game. I will prepare the same as I always do. It's another game at Wembley. I've done a few now, which again, I'm very lucky and privileged to have done so. And I don't take it for granted for 1 minute, and I'll enjoy every second of it.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, Colin.
Always great to have Phil on the show. Of course, you'll hear him giving you full match commentary on Sunday from 4:30. There'll be pre-match build-up as well on Wycombe Sound and on Wanderers TV as well. He'll have Berrily Labala alongside him, who gave us brilliant insight for the Bradford game earlier in the competition as well. Phil, as I say, speaking to us yesterday at the Media Day, also caught up with Matt Cecil, who's the head of media, and as you probably know, has been to Wembley a few times with the club as well, and is very much looking forward to returning this weekend.
This one's a bit of a new experience for us all, really. I think the previous experiences have all come in the playoffs, one during a pandemic, which obviously had its own restrictions, but where those playoffs and those finals have been the only source of focus, whereas ever since we got to Wembley, having beaten Bradford, we still had many league games to navigate, and ultimately it was business as usual where possible, trying to get ready for those games, but knowing that underneath the surface we had this final bubbling away. So resources have been stretched here, there and everywhere, trying to make sure that our normal jobs are done, but at the same time trying to excite the town, put Wycombe Wanderers on the map, knowing that we've got this opportunity in the final at Wembley Stadium to really showcase what we're all about.
And great to have the extra interest from other media as well.
Yeah, it's wonderful to see. It puts a spring in the step of the players, when there's cameras around, an extra interest, because those cameras don't turn up if things aren't going your way, or if you're towards the wrong end and not having achievements, but when they turn up, it probably means you've done something right and there's a good story to tell. So great to have local TV, BBC London down here today. We had Football Focus, there'll be a wonderful feature on Saturday. Sky Sports News with just many hits now between now and Sunday's game. There'll be plenty of interview coverage, and let's not forget the local media as well, of course. Your good selves and James at the Bucks Free, Sam at BBC to come along and you guys are with us every week, and we're thrilled to have that coverage, whether it's Peterborough at Wembley or whether it's Fleetwood and various other games in the league. Wycombe Wanderers have constantly got a story to tell, and it's been nice to share it with a slightly bigger audience this week.
And speaking to Phil, obviously, just in this competition alone, it's great to have got this far in it.
Yeah, over the past few years, we've exited at the group stage and kind of bowed out, and nobody really batted an eyelid at it. But I think this year we sensed that there was a different energy around the place. We won the first couple of group stage games, it got us through, and I've said to a few people, I think this competition has kind of punctuated what was quite a difficult winter for us in terms of league form, but one of these games would come around and we'd win it, and it would just instill a little bit of belief and a little bit more confidence and put a few more smiles on faces, give opportunities to young players that maybe weren't getting it in the league, and before you know it, we're in touching distance of Wembley and thinking, these are really big games now, and beating Brighton in the quarter-final, and then that awfully tricky game at Bradford, which was torture to sit through, but ultimately, we had something to celebrate. And, I'm a bit of an old hand at this now. I've been to Wembley many times with Wycombe Wanderers, and for me to see the joy and the excitement on the faces of Freddie Potts, Joe Lowe, Luke Lee, he's never been to Wembley. These players are having a real monumental experience at the moment, and they'll love stepping out at Wembley on Sunday, and that's what it's all about. And the fans that are going there for the first time, and the fans who are going there for the fifth time, whatever it might be, Wycombe Wanderers at Wembley Stadium, it's a great honour and something we're really excited about.
And a great reward for the manager in his first full season in charge as well, and obviously the players that he's brought in, whether it be in the summer or in January. Yeah,
look, Matt's the beating heart of this club, really, and he puts his life and soul into it. Huge sacrifices, leaving his family behind, and but over in Felixstowe, because he puts so much energy into making this place a success. And there were some difficult times during the winter, and I always said, look, we'll look back at these and have a wry smile at some point when we're shipping last-minute goals and having things going against us. And there will be a point where we can stop and reflect and think, do you know what, we've achieved something through all the bumps in the road. And that day at Wembley will be one of those moments where we can just say, look, we got here, but we're not going there just for the experience. We're going there to win. We're up against a side who are having an extraordinary league season, a really, really strong team. But we have got 4 points off them in the league, and that will give us confidence. So really thrilled for Matt. It'll be a really proud moment for him with his family, looking over and looking down on, a manager in his first full season to be taking a team to Wembley is a fantastic achievement, and hopefully it's not the last time.
What will the day be like for you with all the media activity on Sunday?
Yeah, busy, but at the same time, we're well structured. We've got a great team of people running our website, social media, the videography. Obviously, Phil on commentary and Luke supporting with that. Beverly Labala's doing the commentary with Phil, which he's really excited about because he's cup-tied and wants to contribute in some way. So it's a well-oiled machine. Everyone's got a job to do on the day. My job really is about pointing the right people in front of the right cameras and microphones at the right time. Busy if we win, particularly as a fan when I'm trying to juggle it with the old fist pump and celebration of my own. But actually, if we win, there's countless interviews to do, and make sure that everybody in the media gets their few moments with each of the key personnel. So really exciting day. I will be wearing the suit. I don't think it's come out of the wardrobe for 2 years since the last Wembley trip. I hope it still fits. But a proud day for me, as a football fan, as a Wycombe Wanderers fan, to be working at the home of football for the fourth time will be a really proud day for me as well.
And a great effort for the club as well, and what it's achieved in such a comparatively short period of time.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about the ticket sales, and Peterborough have sold more than us. 15,000 people are going to watch Wycombe Wanderers play, and we've not said that for 2 years. It is an event that sparked local interest. People are going for the first time in a couple of years to go and watch Wycombe Wanderers. There are now, some shop windows being lit up with balloons and good luck messages. We are the talk of the town. It's how we want to be. And as we've seen today with the national media coming down, we want to tell them what we're about. And one of the journalists asked me this morning, what's the story here? I don't know much about Wycombe over the last year. And I said, you won't, because it's a new Wycombe. It's everyone knows Wycombe of Gareth Ainsworth's era and a lot of the key players that were here under Gareth. But actually, it's a new manager, a new way of doing things, a lot of changes around the place, a different kind of energy. And this is what the world is going to see over the next few days and at Wembley Stadium.
Matt Cecil, the head of media at Wycombe Wanderers, speaking to us here at Wycombe Sound on the Wycombe Wanderers Show ahead of the Bristol Street Motors Trophy final between Wycombe Wanderers and Peterborough. It's just nice saying it, isn't it? Make sure you keep listening. Still to come, we'll hear from manager Matt Bloomfield. Ryan Tafazolli chats to us as well. Still to come on the Wycombe Wanderers Show here on Wycombe Sound.
Online, on Radio Player, and on 106.6 FM. This is Wycombe Sound. The Wycombe Wanderers Show, Thursdays from 7.
106.6 FM. Wycombe Sound.
Part 2 of the Wycombe Wanderers Show still to come. We'll catch up with Ryan Tafazolli. We'll also hear from manager Matt Bloomfield, Wycombe Wanderers women's captain Bobby Lynch as well. And Matt Turner from Chiltern Railways gives us some travel tips for Sunday's final. Great to chat to two Wycombe Wanderers Ex-Players Association members, of course, on the show. We had Len Worley, a real Wycombe Wanderers legend, among the first players to go to the National Stadium. Glyn Creaser has been there 3 times with Wycombe Wanderers as well, and a 4th with Dagenham and Redbridge as well. A real pleasure to catch up with him and share his memories. You'll hear some strange whistling, which I now realise is my end, trying to pass it off as an issue with his phone line or something. But great to catch up with Crease and get his memories, especially from his first visit.
It flies past, to be fair. And I was absolutely made up when we obviously achieved beating Altrincham and going to the final. But it was, I didn't realise just how emotional I was going to be afterwards. It was just in complete floods of tears. I think it was just relief, I guess. But it was a fantastic day and an amazing build-up to that particular day at Wembley. 93, obviously, I didn't play, but the boys very kindly allowed me to go up and pick up the trophy that they'd won after beating Runcorn. It just flies past, and you can miss so much of the actual game itself. You get so mixed up in the build-up and everything else. It's a fascinating experience.
Especially for that Runcorn game as well. Did you know that was going to happen in advance? Or, you're saying it's emotional. That must have been especially special that they wanted you to pick up the trophy.
I had no idea at all. I know Andy Kerr and Jason Cousins were the two that had been sort of taking up the role of skipper. And then, they turned around, grabbed me and just pushed me up the stairs. No, I had no idea. No, it was a fantastic gesture.
And especially the first time, because you hear, players and managers, don't you, say, it's just like preparing for any other game, but I guess it's not really.
No, it isn't. It's it's totally different. You don't want to be going there and losing, for sure. And we'd come off the back of a good season, and we knew we had tough competition in Kidderminster. So we knew it was going to be a tough game, albeit maybe John Granville could have done a little better with the save at the bottom of the post, but it is what it is. But then you get Mark West turn up and score a goal that he scored, which was a pretty special goal.
Do you feel extra pressure because of the venue and what's at stake and the occasion as well?
I think it's more about the winning side of it. You don't want to go there and lose. I think you fear. We were very lucky that we had the. I think we went to the town hall. I can't remember now if we did go to the town hall after that one. I think we probably did. I know we went there in '93 when we did the sort of double, as it were. But the occasion is obviously something special because of the place, I suppose, as much as anything else. When you think about the amount of people that are players, ex-players, and those players that have played on what they call the hallowed turf, as it were. Yeah, it's the whole thing. And the club did amazing with the preparation for it as well. So, Martin never left any sort of stone unturned, and obviously with his experience of knowing how to get the best out of the players on the day, paid dividends as well.
And those 3 times that you went, did the players really realise as well the support from literally the whole town went, didn't they?
Oh, unbelievable! Yeah, if we had any burglars around in High Wycombe on the first one, we had something like 26,000 people there, something like that, 25,000. Yeah, amazing support, and on the day to see that sea of blue in the area that they were was fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And of course the one thing you don't want to be doing is letting those people down who follow you. I didn't know there was that many people in Wycombe.
It's incredible to think as well, isn't it? What great milestones they are for the club. We spoke to Len Worley last week. Obviously, he was part of the team who went there for the first time in 57, and then the 3 times that you went, and again with Dagenham Redbridge. And recently, you know, they've had 3 visits in 4 years, and as well as the 2015 League Two playoff final as well.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I mean, we've been steeped in Wembley history, I guess you could say, above everything else that the club's achieved over the years. To be go to put yourself in a position where you've got a team that you can put out and go and try and win competitions and trophies. We've been there lots, and sometimes the results haven't gone our way, but I think the amount of effort and everything else that everybody puts in behind the scenes, you know, from the cleaner to the physio to the manager and obviously all the players is pretty phenomenal at Wycombe, and it's been like it for years now.
And I always spoke to you before about the real sense that, you know, how far the club has come in terms of, you know, in your day, obviously, non-league and then going to the Football League and then, you know, winning promotions, even into the Championship at one point.
Yeah, for sure, yeah. I mean, I think that just demonstrates just how serious that the club and the chairman and the directors or whoever, you know, are taking it extremely seriously and trying to maintain the highest standard they can. And, you know, listen, you know, wouldn't it be great if we could find the magic key, if you like, to having or fielding the right side that can go through and go back to the Championship and then potentially go into the Prem. That would be something, you know, extraordinary, wouldn't it?
No, absolutely.
But you know, you've got to have dreams. You've got to have dreams. You've got to have ambition. But I think if Wycombe can sustain their position in this league and then maybe push on again in the next few years, then who knows?
No, absolutely. Do you have a particular sort of favourite Wembley memory, if you like, from your 4 visits?
Well, I guess I suppose one would be with this particular one was with Dagenham, because we got the opportunity to be introduced to Pele and Gordon Banks prior to the game, and I believe Pele never actually played at Wembley in his whole career, so that was a bit special, not just for me, but a lot of the young lads that were there as well, to see 2 great icons of the game get presented to you that was a pretty special moment.
And there must be so many iconic moments too, obviously leading the team out and obviously going up the famous steps as well.
Yeah, for sure, yeah, the 39 steps as they call them, and the stud marks that were in the old stadium that Bobby Moore trod when he went up to pick up the World Cup. Yeah, special memories, yeah. And it's only when you start to talk about it again that you start to recall some of the stuff that happened. But that was probably the standout one.
And as you say, you've got those special memories of the sort of the bond that you had with the team that you played in, and the team talks from the manager, and even down to sort of the kits that you wore, which are so different today, of course.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I know the bond between the boys at the time and beyond into 93, 91, 93, and then obviously into the 94. The 94 game is still as tight as ever. I mean, we get together, we meet up for a beer and a chat and have a laugh. Try and do that every year. So they were a very special group of people. Yeah, very, very dear to my heart, all of them.
It was so nice to see you all together at the ex-players dinner as well, just at the end of last year, and that just goes to show, doesn't it, all these years later, how special that is. Yeah,
and it's like you've not been apart. In fairness, the same sort of banter, you get the same, Mickey taking and all that sort of stuff, and but I think when we walked over the white line, it was we knew what we were going out there to do, and we just went out there and tried our best to do it as best we could every time we went out on the pitch. But once the game was finished, it was party time, and you went out and you went out and had a drink together afterwards. So it was. A very special group of people, great lads.
It's fantastic that you all go on so well, and obviously still do as well, especially obviously what you've been through personally, and that you've got the support from those guys as well, and it doesn't seem to matter whether some of them live obviously in other countries or other parts of the world even. Yeah, for sure. Well, Andy Kerr rocked up, didn't he, for the dinner. He came over from, I think he's in Canada now, and we had John Kerr over a couple of years ago, didn't we? I think it was he came over from America. So I mean, and it's great that the lads still want to make an effort, but I think it's because of the bond that we had as individuals, as a group of players,
I think that sort of kind of cements the whole relationship piece.
And as well, does it feel extra special to be able to reflect? Because I know it's brilliant to speak to different generations of ex-players, and it feels like their era was especially special. But with you and the team that got up to the Football League as well, that must feel especially great in terms of the club's history.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you could say that those players that were involved with attaining that achievement will go down in history, because we were the ones that were responsible for us getting promoted out of Div 3 into Div 2. So yeah, that again, there's another thing to sort of put on your CV, if you like. But yeah, I mean, and it'll matter to a lot of our supporters or supporters at the time and those that are still with us. But you can't rewrite that bit. That bit can never ever be taken away from the people responsible for getting us there.
And just finally, as someone who's done it on more than one occasion, what would be your advice to the players who are taken to the field at Wembley this weekend?
Go and enjoy it. They're going out there to play a game of football. You just got, I guess for me, you just try and treat it as any other game. Forget about where you are and what people say about, zaps your legs, and it's like it's a really big pitch, and you've just got to go out there and enjoy it. Go out and do what you do every week at Wycombe or wherever you're playing on the day, and try and enjoy it, and sort of just relish the whole experience, and then take away hopefully good memories after the end of the game.
And again, from your own experience, does it matter in a way whether a particular team goes in as favourites or underdog, or whether it appears it's a 50-50 contest?
Yeah, I think it is. I think that the environment you're going into is a good leveller, because I think everybody will be nervous, everybody will be tentative about how the game's going to pan out and who's going to do well. But I think if the boys can just focus on getting their first header or their first touch right, and the keeper comes and takes one out of the air and sets himself right, then there's no reason why they can't go on and win it. Peterborough are doing well at the minute, aren't they? But that accounts for nothing. It's a game they've got to go and try and win.
Well, it's been a pleasure to speak to you. Thank you so much, Steve, for your time.
No, you're very welcome.
Great to have the opportunity to speak to Glyn Creaser. He was our very first Wycombe Wanderers Ex-Players Association guest back in Series 1 of the show. We're in Series 4 if you're new to it, coming towards the end of the season, of course. Plenty of league games still to come as well. Brilliant to get the thoughts of a former central defender. Great to chat to a current one as well, Ryan Tafazolli, who of course played for Peterborough as well. And as you can imagine, very much looking forward to the opportunity of coming up against his former club on Sunday at Wembley.
We should take confidence from the recent performances that lads have put in. We've got 4 out-and-out centre-halves competing for 2 spots probably, depending on what formation we play. I don't actually know what formation we're going to play yet. So I think that every centre-half, whoever's picked, can be confident, come game day, knowing that we've been defensively resilient as of late, and it's going to require us to be performing at our absolute maximum to nullify a very potent Peterborough attack.
And is there lots you can take from previous encounters with them this season?
Yeah, exactly, true. We drew them away, didn't we? Put in a very good performance. I think the manager came out and said it was one of the best away performances from an opposition side that he'd faced up until that point. And obviously at home, we did beat them 5-2, which was a very good result on the day. I know that they tinkered with their formation a little bit. I'm sure they'll be back to their usual 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3, whatever you want to call it, come Sunday.
And will it really bring back memories of when you were there before, when you were at Wembley this weekend?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's funny actually. It's good that I after we lost at Wembley, my girlfriend bought me Coldplay tickets to go watch them live at Wembley a few months later. And I remember walking up towards the stadium and it felt like I almost had PTSD from where I'd suffered that heartbreaking loss beforehand. It's good I got it out of my system because I've not been back to Wembley since. So yeah, hopefully I don't get any flashbacks of the Sunderland game, and I can just fully concentrate on trying to perform as well as I can against Peterborough.
Does it make it extra special coming up against a former club as well?
Yeah, I'd say so. I spent a few years there. It's a shame that I didn't get to play at Wembley with Peterborough, because we had some decent teams when I was there, and we fell short just a couple of times, not making the playoffs actually. So yeah, I mean, it would be great if both Peterborough and us could have some success. But obviously, only one team can win, and hopefully it is us on Sunday.
Does it feel extra special playing at a final, especially to some difficult times that you've had this season with injuries throughout the team and a difficult run of results as well?
Yeah, I mean, like it's been a a tricky season at times, if you like. But obviously, we've got the gaffer who's his first full season in charge, so it's going to be periods of implementing new ideas and moments of transition. And I think that now, as of late, you can really start to see some of the fruits of the labour, if you like, because we've been in decent form, and hopefully now come Sunday we can really show what we're about.
Does it feel like really like rewards for your efforts at this stage of the season too?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I would say definitely. I mean, playing at Wembley is the ultimate reward, isn't it, for any footballer? And people go through their whole careers without getting a chance to play at Wembley. But we took the trophy very seriously, and whoever played, no matter who it was, everyone has contributed to getting us to this final, and everyone should be proud that we've got here. But we want to take it all the way now and try and lift the trophy.
It's a great sort of achievement, isn't it, to come through these different stages and playing against the under-21 teams that you came up against as well. Yeah,
I mean, they were all good tests, and fair play to them. I think a lot of them younger lads who are at academies did themselves very proud, and I'm sure they'll have good futures going forward. As we saw that Gideon Kadua, who played against us for West Ham, he ended up getting his loan move here after a good performance against us. So yeah, it's been enjoyable.
And what would you say you're looking forward to most about the weekend? Just the backing of the fans, especially.
Yeah, seeing the fans in all their glory, coming out in their numbers. I think that'll be brilliant for the fans if we can get. I think what will make me most happy is if we can get a win for the fans. I know how much this game means to them. So yeah, that'll be great.
Online, on Radio Player, and on 106.6 FM. This is Wycombe Sound. The Wycombe Wanderers Show, Thursdays from 7.
106.6 FM, Wycombe Sound.
Final part of this week's Wycombe Wanderers Show. It's a Bristol Street Motors Trophy Final Special. Still to come, we'll hear from manager Matt Bloomfield. We'll catch up with Matt Turner as well, who's from Chiltern Railways and can give us some travel advice for the game on Sunday. Also on Sunday was due to be the penultimate game for Wycombe Wanderers women in their league campaign, but they managed to get the game rearranged so that many of Wycombe Wanderers women can go to Wembley to enjoy and support the men in this particular game. I've been fortunate enough to catch up with Wycombe Wanderers women captain Bobby Lynch, who can tell us a little bit more.
Yeah, it's been brilliant. I think the league was really nice to us, and they let us all two teams on the Sunday have the weekend off, which has been brilliant for us because it means we can go in a large number.
And a real brilliant trip out for you all as well, of course.
Yeah, it'll be really good. I mean, I think there is about 50 of us or 60 of us going down. So we'll get to go in, because the kick-off was delayed, wasn't it? We'll get to spend the day, we can go to the fan zones and stuff, and we can really get ourselves involved in the atmosphere. So it'll be really nice, I think, for the club. And a really nice show of unity as well, because I know, the men's team are really behind what you do, and great to see that you can go along and support them in this final as well. Yeah, it's been really good for us, and I think we've built some quite good relationships. In particular, I've done some things with David Wheeler and Joe Lowe recently, and so I've got to know those two. And I think, the relationships are building between us, and it's really nice that the support is there from the club and vice versa. And you must have noticed the profile, obviously, of the Wycombe Wanderers women raising as well. And you were involved recently in the mental health sort of panel thing, which must have been great as well to be involved with. Yeah, that was really good. That's what I did with David and Joe. They were the guest speakers when I was on the panel. So yeah, it was really good to be involved in that and be able to share our experiences, because obviously we provide different things. Like football for me is still, at Wycombe, is very much a hobby, and it's something I do because I love the game, and obviously for them it's a job. So you get the two different aspects of how it works for us and our different perspectives, I suppose. No, absolutely. And nice on Sunday as well for the sort of fans who are going to the game to be able to sort of see you at the game and the rest of the team, and just sort of that'll help raise your profile as well. Yeah, and I think it helps with the visibility as well, doesn't it? I mean, I met some girls at Adams Park on Monday, and it was really nice to chat to them and had a couple of photos with them and stuff, So I think the profile of us is raising, and people know who we are, and when we're around the club, we're very much treated like Wycombe Wanderers players, which is lovely now.
A really nice influence that you have on young girls as well, who perhaps want to kind of be where you are in their futures as well.
Yeah, and I think you see that more and more, and I think it's from parents as well, not just the children. And it's like if they see a real pathway and a real possibility to be a female footballer, so they can still get that quality time with their parents, and the parents have to spend all that time at training and stuff. But it matters, and it's doable now.
And I know even within the club that a lot of the younger players really appreciate your support and the senior members of the team as well, and great that you go along to the under-18s, for example, and support them too.
Yeah, we try our best to get there every so often. I used to do it every weekend with the 18s, but it's quite a commitment. I commit quite a lot of my time to football, so I try and mainly do home games with them. But I think it just helps ease the links between the sort of youth section, as we call it, and the first team, and it makes this transition smoother because they're used to us being around. And then we train with each other as well, albeit separately in different groups, but we're all there at the same time. So before training and stuff, we get to hang out and get to know all the girls. So when they do step up and they come up into the first team training, but it's sort of easier because they know, like myself and a couple of the other girls.
And it's been great to watch, I'm sure, from your point of view as well, the team develop this season and the progress that you've made. And I guess you have kind of things that you'd like to achieve for the remaining games of the season as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think last year we spoke a lot, didn't we, about it being a transition season, and we were trying to install a more professional model into the female side, which has been successful. I think that shows in the results and sort of the development on the pitch and off the pitch. And I think, for the remainder of the few games, the aim is just to win them and finish as high up the table as we can to give us a real push for next season.
We wish you all the best for the rest of the season. Enjoy your day out on Sunday.
Perfect, thank you very much.
Wycombe Wanderers Women captain Bobby Lynch. Do keep an eye on their social media as well for some top news about how the women's game at the club will be structured. Coming up, we'll hear from manager Matt Bloomfield in a few moments' time, but I've been speaking to another Matt Turner from Chiltern Railways, who can give us some top tips on getting to the game by train on Sunday.
In terms of the travel on the day itself, we are asking Wycombe fans to make sure that they check the journey before they travel. We are expecting a lot of supporters to travel with us for the event, so we have amended our timetable to help cater for those additional passengers, although, services are still likely to be very busy on the day. And I think one really important thing to know, especially on the way down to Wembley Stadium on Sunday, is that there'll be no trains to Wembley Stadium before 11 in the morning. So after that, an enhanced service with additional and longer trains will run between, High Wycombe, Beaconsfield, Gerrards Cross and Wembley for the rest of the day. What we will have at High Wycombe is a queuing system pre-match, which is, to make sure that we board trains efficiently and safely. As I think you alluded to, the station isn't generally used to that many people hovering around at once.
So I remember a couple of years back that the queues were certainly when we were queuing was right back to the police station. It went right down the hill. But I guess there's some things that you can do to help alleviate that though, as a passenger, especially to get your tickets in advance as well.
Absolutely, yes. Please do check ahead before you travel, and like you said, if you purchase tickets in advance on a website or app, that'd be great, because what that means generally is, it means less waiting around at ticket offices and machines and more time spent enjoying the atmosphere on what will be a really good day.
I mean, it's good in a way that the kick-off's not until 4:30, because I think that gives people plenty of time to get there.
Yes, yeah, it does, yeah. And that's why we have taken the decision to run the enhanced service after 11 a.m. We are always in discussions with Wembley Stadium and the FA about kick-off times, and when it did change over to 4:30, we had to change our plans and put a plan into action to make sure that people can make the most of a really good day out in Wembley.
So what would be your top tips in terms of getting to the game?
So in terms of getting to the game, like I said, there'll be no trains to Wembley Stadium before 11 a.m, so please do arrive at High Wycombe Station. After that, if you are travelling by rail, we will have additional services. We will have enhanced services. So, please be patient with our staff as they move to board you on those trains. But it will be a very busy day. Please do check ahead before you travel. And we will have longer trains after the match as well. So, if you went a couple of years ago, I'm sure you'll know that there were queues at Wembley Stadium Station. And, I do want to manage expectation in that way and say that, those queues, particularly if everybody leaves the ground at the same time and goes straight to the station to head back home, will be quite long, but we'll be doing our best to get everybody moving as soon as possible. What we are asking is that customers don't go back to Marylebone, for example, to try and pick up a train back to Wycombe quicker, unless they intend on staying in central London, because a lot of the additional capacity, the longer trains, the additional services which we're laying on post-match actually start at Wembley itself. So if you really don't want to queue and you've got a bit of time to kill, I would suggest travelling a little bit later after the match and, enjoying what Wembley has to offer in the meantime.
It's a really good tip, actually, because I think, some people like to leave a game early, don't they, to avoid the queues and the rush. And some people, as you say, can sort of hang back and travel a bit later as well.
Absolutely, yes. If you, like I said, if you do have that time to kill, I think anecdotally, at least from speaking to people who attended the match at Wembley a couple of years ago, waiting and giving it an hour or two after the match probably made the queuing a little bit less frustrating. But, like I said, if you have that many people trying to get to the same place at one particular time, queuing at Wembley Stadium is going to be inevitable. But hopefully it will be a jovial queue after a fantastic win at Peterborough on Sunday.
No, absolutely. Because I guess an event like this as well must have taken quite a bit of planning. I mean, there's obviously event days at Wembley which take planning as well, but especially something like this from one of the stations where, as I say, so many people go from the same place.
Absolutely, yeah. So at Shilton we manage around or a little bit over 50 Wembley Stadium events a year, ranging from massive concerts to kind of England international matches. But a game such as this, which is so local and so concentrated on our network, does bring about its own challenges. Typically, on a kind of match day or a Wembley event day, we would expect to see about 10% of the attendees travel by rail. But when it is a club such as Wycombe, for example, where there is a really quick direct rail link, that percentage will increase quite dramatically, and we see it on other parts of our route as well. So yes, it's certainly a different beast, but one that we're really looking forward to, and hopefully we can help bring good atmosphere and the good vibes on Sunday.
Has there been things that you've had to do differently or had to look at since the 2022?
I think it's a case of continually reviewing our processes, which we do with Wembley anyway, but we are really conscious that, like I said before, when it comes to local teams such as Wycombe, or we've had Coventry before, there is a bigger crowd. So what we've done is we've knocked heads together and learned lessons from 2 years ago, and just making those little tweaks to queuing systems and the on-the-day activity at stations, at Wycombe, Beaconsfield, at Gerrards Cross and Wembley Stadium as well, to make sure that we can make the experience as seamless as possible. I'd just like to take the opportunity to kind of thank Wycombe's travelling support in advance for their patience on what's going to be a busy day on our network.
And of course, make sure you do have a ticket before you travel, because I know we spoke to you recently about the fare dodging and also, with big crowds of football fans as well who might not have purchased a ticket in advance but still need to travel.
Absolutely, yes. Always good to purchase your tickets ahead of time if you can. Not only because, as I said before, it cuts your queuing time at a ticket office or a machine, but it gives us an indication as well of how many people we can expect to see on the network. It's always good to be prepared. So, yeah, please do check ahead before you travel. And we know how important Sunday is to the travelling fans, and I'd like to extend a congratulations to the Chairboys for reaching the final, because as a Lincoln fan, Colin, I'm slightly jealous, but also really, really aware of how important days like this coming Sunday are to community clubs such as Wycombe. So, I do hope that everybody has a brilliant day. It's a great occasion to be a part of from our perspective, and, we're all hoping that the team can pick up a win versus Peterborough, who I always like to see lose, so I do have a vested interest in this, however much.
So just to reinforce, what are your top tips for travel on Sunday?
So top tips for travel on Sunday: please do not try and travel to Wembley Stadium before 11 a.m. After 11 a.m, our enhanced and additional services are going to be running. So please do check ahead before you travel. There will be queues, but we'll try and get you on a train as quickly as possible. And like I said before, please do purchase tickets in advance on our website or app. If you can do that on www.chilternrailways.co.uk.
Great to chat to Matt from Chiltern Railways. Do check before you travel. Do buy your tickets in advance and try and minimise those queues. And be patient, of course. After the game on Sunday, there will be some lengthy delays. But as you've heard, there will be some extra trains and some lengthier trains as well, leaving from Wembley Stadium to get you back. Well worth hanging back perhaps a little after the game as well. Hopefully to celebrate a win. As mentioned, they've had Media Day at the training ground this week. The world's media has been there, and some local media as well. And I got the chance to catch up with manager Matt Bloomfield, who of course we speak to regularly, but this didn't feel like quite an ordinary build-up to a game.
I usually give you the boring answer, don't I, and say it's just like any other game, but it feels different today. It feels like the lads have got a spring in their step. There's obviously a different feel around the place, because it's not a run-of-the-mill league game. It's something a bit different, and it's a final we're looking forward to.
And you talked after the Blackpool game about headaches and competition for places. Have you had those headaches this week?
Absolutely. I've barely slept over the weekend, or it's not been the weekend, has it? We played on a Monday. So, the last couple of nights I've been giving it a lot of thought. There's more to come this week. I'm not fully decided on the final 11, so we've got a couple of days to go. I was really pleased on Sunday in terms of the performance level of the lads that hadn't played so much recently and putting themselves right to the fore. So, I wanted that before the game, and the lads gave that. I thought it was a very, very decent performance on the road, and could have been more with the chance to hit the bar at the end.
And there are areas that you were especially pleased with going into this game, especially, as you say, the clean sheet.
Yeah, I think it was really important for us to, our defensive record's been all right recently, barring a couple of games where we've had a 4 and a 3. But apart from that, it's been good since Christmas, since we've gone to the 4. So 4 at the back. So it's been, really important for us to build on a solid defensive display. And if we want to win on Sunday, we're going to have to make sure we're going to be solid, because Peterborough are a team that can hurt you at any moment. So we have to make sure we're organised and tactically sound.
And do you feel that you go into this game as favourites, as underdogs, or is it sort of 50-50, or none of those?
It's not what I think, but I think if you look at the bookies, I think that we are underdogs. I think that Peterborough are favourites from what I've been told. Probably understandably so, considering their position in the league and the money they've spent on their squad. So I think that understandably so, that might be the perception. So we have to prepare in the way that we always do, irrespective of opponents. We respect them, and we have to build a game plan that we believe in, make sure the boys are prepared, and anything can happen on the day.
So you take certain things from the league meetings between the two teams, or is this very different on Sunday?
It's going to be different because it's a cup competition. There's not points at stake. It's a neutral venue, so there's going to be lots of things that are different about it. But ultimately, there's going to be two similar teams to the ones that have played in the game so far. Ours is probably quite a bit different to the first league game, if I'm honest. But Peterborough have been very consistent throughout the season. They've got a number of players who have played a big chunk of their season for them, a good age to keep playing games. So, I think they're very consistent in their performance level, the way they play, the style of the play, the team selection. So we know we're up against a very good opponent on Sunday, and we respect them. So we have to make sure we're going to be at our best if we want to win the game. And
the players must be so much looking forward to it. But amongst the team, some who've experienced the big games and some who've not experienced something like this before.
Yeah, some of the lads have been there and done it and got the T-shirt and moved on, and some of the boys, it's going to be a brand new experience for anyone. I don't think the big games ever get old. Be able to go and experience Wembley and experience the cup final feel. We've been lucky enough to do it in the playoff a few times here over the years. So, it's obviously something that everybody's looking forward to. We have to temper that with the fact that we've got to go and do our business. That's the only thing that matters to me, is the fact that we need to go there and perform to the level I know that we can, and we believe we can. And if we do that, then there's no better place to win, but it's also a cruel place to lose. So our focus has to be on the performance.
And a great benefit for the players to be led by someone who's been there a few times yourself.
Yeah, I think that, with experience comes that little bit of knowledge of what it's all about. So it's going to be great for the boys. We've got some who have never been and who are going to experience for the first time. And for the lads and our supporters, I want them to perform the way I know they can, and the way we have been a lot recently, because they deserve to play well. They deserve to go and put on a good performance and enjoy their day.
And a proud moment for you, of course, to be leading the team. You've been there as a captain and now a manager as well.
Yeah, getting to Wembley once is amazing. To do it for the fourth time, once as a player, once as a captain, as a coach, and now as a manager is just incredible, mate. I love Wembley. I love what it is. I went there when I was a kid and I just got hooked on the place, so I love it. To go back there to lead our football club, my football club as manager, is an incredible moment. But it's only incredible if you win. It's a cruel place to lose. So, like I say, I'm sorry for being boring, but I have to focus on the fact that we want to go there and win.
And a great advert for the club as well, the fact that we've been there 3 times in the last 4 years, obviously 2015 as well.
Yeah, it's incredible, for our club to go there so often. There's so many clubs don't get to go there for years on end, and so many players who I know have had incredible careers never get to play at Wembley, and we're going for the 4th time in 10 years. So we have to savour that, because you never know when the next time's going to be. So make the most of it. I hope the supporters, I hope all of our families and friends have the most wonderful day and enjoy the occasion. But for us, we have to forget all about that because we have business to take care of.
And as you've been there before on so many occasions, only one obviously without fans, but it's great to have the backing of the whole town and in the build up to it as well.
Yeah, too right. Because we've had some tough moments this season, of which I've been reminded of a few times in the interviews today. We've had some tough moments. I know we have. And I dare say there's going to be plenty more challenges and tough moments to come. That's what football's about. That's what management's about. You have to ride those storms when they come. I've been really, really fortunate, and I feel very fortunate for the backing that Rob and Pete and the Kuhigs have given me this season. We've had some rocky moments, but I feel like we recruited well in January. We tried to reuse the money from the SCMP as well as we possibly could in terms of what we had to work with. And the new lads that have come in have really helped us, and I feel like we've taken a good step forward. Our league form since the end of the January transfer window, I believe, is 5th in the league. From someone told me earlier on, so I'll check that, but I'm fairly certain that's the case. And if it is, then all well and good. We want to keep moving forward, mate. You know what I'm like. I've got a huge desire to make this a success, I hope we can write a story on Sunday.
I just felt extra special to have reached the final, because obviously in the earlier rounds of the competition, obviously there weren't as many big crowds, and I guess the games weren't taken as so seriously, but some fantastic results on the way, and great to be able to take on Peterborough in the final.
Yeah, I think we've taken it fairly seriously from all the way through, because we were a developing group and an evolving group, and I always felt like the games were an extra opportunity to get more cohesion throughout the group. So we've always taken it fairly strongly. Of course, at times there have been opportunities to blood a couple of younger lads and rest a few of the seniors. But yeah, it's been a competition that from the word go I felt that we could get far in, because people do kind of weaken at times. So we've taken it strongly, and we've soon got to the quarter-finals, semi-finals. It becomes real, and we're really lucky to have got to the final.
It must be great to be able to hopefully look back on your first season in charge with some silverware as well.
I hope so. I hope that's the case. I'm not going to take myself to that place, because we have a process and a strategy that we have to go through to get there, mate. I really respect the team we're up against. I really respect the manager we're up against. I really respect the occasion of what it is, and how lucky and fortunate we are to be there and be able to take part. I'm really thankful for that. But it's only a special day if you go and win.
And what would you be saying to the players just before they go out on Sunday?
What would I be saying? Good, very, very good question. I haven't even got that far down the line, mate. We've been concentrating on our league form. We've been concentrating on making sure we did the Easter weekend right. I was really proud of the performance at Blackpool on Sunday. We've now got on to training today and getting ready for the team for the weekend. And I must give it some thought of what I'm going to say before they go out.
All the best, thank you very much.
Top man, cheers,
thank you.
Top man.
Wishing Matt Bloomfield and the team all the best, obviously, for Sunday. If you're going along to the game, I hope you enjoy it. I hope it's a fantastic day. Hopefully it's a win, of course. It'd be brilliant to have some silverware in Matt's first full season in charge. And if you're not going, as mentioned, the full game will be live here on Wycombe Sound and on Wanderers TV. Phil will be bringing you full match commentary along with Beverly Labala as well on co-commentary. Some fantastic insight. I'm sure you'll agree if you heard the Bradford City game. A brilliant achievement for the team to get to the final, especially after going through the early rounds of the competition and the small crowds at Adams Park and taking on the under-21 teams. And great to hear such stories throughout the competition, like Jasper Pattenden, of course, who earned his spot in the league team as well as a result of doing so well in that cup competition as well. And the West Ham loanees that came as a result of that game as well against West Ham, of course. Plenty to look forward to on Sunday. Join us next week on the show. There's Ringing the Blues on Tuesday. You get all your build-up with pre-match drills as well. And look forward to giving you all the feedback from that game as well. And have a great rest of your week.